to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha and Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you'll be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. One more. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I'm praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Nityananda Ram ki. So here they are, Nitai Pada, Kamala, Koti Chandra Sushitala, with the markings on the soles of Lord Nityananda's feet, indicated by this illustration. 2 deity photos, close-ups of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, with nice ankle ornaments and tulsi leaves and sandalwood, and giving the mercy. So now I'd like to go to a presentation on what happened at the end of the 20 years. Somebody asked yesterday evening, why 20 years? What was he doing for 20 years? Or why did he wait for 20 years? He was waiting for, there we go, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to manifest his Leela as a Vaishnava. Because during the earlier parts of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, he was not disclosing his identity, as he did later, as a Vaishnava, but he was performing the Leela of a scholar, super scholar, defeating everybody. We heard yesterday evening, Lord Nityananda was 12 years older than Nimai Pandit. And at the time of his appearance in Navadvip, Nityananda roared so loudly, Hadai Pandit, to give his son to travel with him. And so a very sorrowful, like Krishna leaving Vrindavan, sorrowful occurrence took place where Nityananda, 12-year-old, similar to when Krishna left, not the same, but similar to when Krishna left Vrindavan. He was the life and soul of Ekachakra, and he left. And as the sannyasi was traveling, we don't hear details about where the sannyasi traveled, but at some point in time, over the course of 20 years, Nityananda continued his own travel to pilgrimage places, similar to what Balaram did, visiting pilgrimage places. Specifically in the Bhagavatam, it's for sanctifying those places of pilgrimage, but appearing as if he was one of us. He was going for purification. And at a certain point in time, he had traveled through Mathura and Vrindavan, and then circled around and came back. And towards the end of his days before he returned or rejoined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and went to Navadvip, he was in Vrindavan. And then I'd like to read because I can share, but Vrindavan Das Thakur's writing is so exquisite. I flipped a coin and it was read. So I'm going to read from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, starting with verse 115. No one could recognize Nityananda, the origin of Ananta, as he loudly roared on seeing his previous birthplace. No one could understand his magnanimous characteristics. He did not consume anything other than the mellows of Krishna consciousness. On some days, he drank some milk, if offered him without asking. Paramahansa, like Madhavendra Puri, Paramahansa. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu resided in Vrindavan, while in Navadvip, Gaurachandra revealed himself. The Lord, Mrs. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, engaged in Sankirtan in great happiness, yet he became unhappy on not seeing Nityananda. Nityananda understood that the Lord had manifested himself. He had waited in Vrindavan for this moment. On realizing this, he immediately went to Navadvip. He stayed at the house of Nanda